All right. Video's going live. Stand by for audio. All right. Good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Live the Fuel show. So today I am catching up with yet another co-host new to our show, but another powerful connection through the last 2 years of me visiting this wonderful event outside of Philadelphia called MapCon, the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. Quick shout out to Super Joe Pardo, who founded that. And for those of you that are newer listeners, when I launched this show over a year ago, that was the first conference I ever went to. The show was literally in its first week of launch. And now I'm obviously connecting with people a year later. I've gone back to speak there. But let's fast forward to why we're talking to our new co-host today. She rocked the mic at this event. She's got a powerful story. I just had to get her on the show. She's found a way to niche herself with this power of dance and entrepreneurship. So literally, the co-host we're bringing on today, she's actually founded the DancePreneuring Studio podcast, where she guides her listeners on a journey of transformation inspired by dance and life and business and everything. So I love this. You know, the podcast is a reflection of her personal adventure overcoming her own fears. And clearly, she's got a passion for dance after 20 plus years hiatus. So she had a little break in there, gang. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this and understand her story. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Annett Bone.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. I was so looking forward to our conversation.
I'm totally fired up. I'm totally excited because loved hanging out with you again outside of Philly. I know everybody calls it like, oh, it's a Philadelphia conference. I'm like, well, technically we were over in Jersey. So, we're not trying to judge. I do love Philadelphia. I'll be down there again this week. So, but you're dialing in from us virtually because we do the video feed over the past 60 episodes now. You're in Cali. Whereabouts in California are you?
I'm in the greater Los Angeles area. And if you're not familiar, there's I always say greater Los Angeles because LA is so big, but I actually live in a part of Long Beach called Signal Hill. So I'm I'd say about 20 minutes from LAX airport and about 30 minutes without traffic to pretty much every part of LA, but that's without traffic because there's so much traffic here.
We definitely are talking to a Californiaite because most Californians do refer to your lovely traffic, especially in the LA area. I personally try and pick all of my travels and events to not go anywhere near there. So
I don't blame you, Scott. I don't blame you.
And no offense. Again, California is gorgeous. We were just joking around to our listeners, guys. We were just joking around together because not every podcaster does video. So she and I both love the Zoom platform. Like, for example, she's having issues with lighting on her end. I could care less, but I'm like, what the hell? I'll try and help her as much as I can. On my end, it's a busy time of the day here on a Monday because it's like literally 1:30 in the afternoon. And I have a lot of other, I found out, businesses around me, even though I'm in a residential setting for my home studio here, that this time of day, people like to use the internet. So like on Annett's end, she may see me freezing up, but thanks to on my end, I receive fine. So the upload speed might give me a delay on your end, Annett. You have nothing to worry about because on my end, everything looks great. Everything's recording fine. You're performing fine. Clearly my lighting is better than your lighting. We just got done learning about boom lamps and everything else to help you level up your game.
Yes.
So this is the fun, right? We don't know what's going to come out of a podcast. It gets a little crazy. Does this happen on your show too?
Yes, it's funny you mentioned that, Scott, because before I would be very much like, okay, I need to make sure that this, A, B, C, D, and we're, within the parameters, I have this set. But I'm finding more now that I'm welcoming these spontaneous moments. They're more fun, so I'm getting used to that. So this is a good experience for me, out of my comfort zone, like everything else that I try to do.
Well, I think that's a lesson that's come up on a number of my shows, and now that I think about it, and I'm sure it's come up on you too, especially from the world of dance. Because people don't realize that some of the most powerful lessons, we discussed this actually at the conference about embracing the change, right? And realizing that some of the most powerful things you learn is from mistakes or opportunities along the way. And obviously,
yes.
And for our listeners, gang, and while I'm talking to you, I'm actually going to pop into a screen share here because, again, to our listeners, her brand is her name. So check her out at AnnettBone.com. That's 2 N's, 2 T's, BONE.com. You'll find access to her podcast, all of her media, the testimonials. This girl is definitely niched into the dance world. And again, I think you can help us understand some lessons learned from this world, right?
Yes, I've learned a lot. in the
just
world.
A little bit, just
yeah.
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, I mean, so catch us up on this. Besides the fact we got to learn about lamps together 5-10 minutes ago, and lighting, and let's be real, lighting's important, right? You got to show off your dance, your skills. But I mean, I'm sure some of that came into you realizing along the way, like, I've got to create my own brand. I'm going to launch my own persona online. I'm going to launch my own podcast. I want to connect with dance and life and business, which is part of your tagline that I'm sharing on the video feed right now. So let's dive in. I mean, 20-year hiatus, making a comeback. Clearly, girl loves her dance. Like, why? Like, why is this so important to you?
Oh my gosh, Scott, it's been one heck of a ride so far, and I feel like it's just beginning. I could not stay away from dance any longer than I did. 20 years is a long time being away from something that you love so much and then just giving it up and giving up on yourself. And I think that was the biggest thing, is that, wow, I allowed myself to embrace this victim mentality and just to let that spiral downwards. And, I was thinking about this because I thought, we all have choices to make regardless of the environment. And, everybody has gone through stuff. Everybody has challenges. Everybody has gone through stuff. And still, at the root of it, we have choices to make. And so I chose to adopt not the best mentality and to feel sorry for myself and just kind of let that spiral downwards. And so when I gave up dance, I made up all these excuses like, well, it's not meant for me, and I'm just not cut out for it, and I don't look a certain way, I don't have this body type and that kind of thing. And so that affected everything because I gave up something that I loved so much. And I thought that because I didn't necessarily have the experience or excel in a part of dance, like the commercial part, that was my goal initially, I thought, okay, then I'm a failure. It's not for me. I'm not successful because I can't say, well, I studied at this place and, I have this background. I studied dance and I've been in all these competitions and had these although, I did have excellent dance training when I was in college, and I did get my bachelor's in dance. And it was like, even that, I came in, pretty much my peers were dancing since they were 3-4 years old. Some of them were already working professionally. And I came in starting late, really insecure. And I thought, okay, something in me always, even if I was feeling insecure, Scott, I was always pushing myself some way that I knew, even if I drew back a little bit, there was something inside me that still pushed myself, even if it was just a little bit.
Well, and that's one thing that I picked up from you, just from the conference, right? And just following you now online as well, is that, and it's funny, this is connecting forth in the form of art, because literally, just to catch you up real fast, this whole dancing thing, and what I'm hearing from you is work ethic, right? You can't teach, well, some people say you could teach work ethic, but there's a certain mindset tied into that. And that's what you've already been hinting at, is that this whole mental fortitude, the embracing the change, realizing that just because you weren't born into it or brought up from a young age doesn't mean you can't accomplish some of the same magnificent accomplishments that world-class dancers have, right? It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes that mental fortitude. And fast forward, like literally this morning, I'm in the middle of a fundraising campaign for cystic fibrosis. Is a local genetic disorder. I mean, not a local. Their chapter that I'm raising money for is local, but cystic fibrosis is worldwide. Here in the U.S., there's only 30,000 people that actually have the condition, so it's a very unique genetic disorder, and 70,000 worldwide. So 30,000 here in the U.S., 70,000 worldwide. So it's a very niche thing that I'm trying to bring awareness around, raise money with, but. We did a Facebook Live video from their office with Selena in their office there. And she's one of the representatives who helps with the awareness campaigns. And I had no idea that she had spent years in New York City, and she was an opera singer. I was like, get the heck out. And then one of the other women in the office, she's like, you think that's weird? This other girl also used to live in New York City, and she used to do like theater and everything else. So it was kind of funny how like all of a sudden they all connected through a charity, but they all have, the people in her office are all connected through art and dance and all this other stuff. And I'm like, and it's opera singing. I'm like, wow, this is a thing. But she brought this up as well, that you can't have everything overnight. And she pointed out that when it comes to opera, for example, she's like, it takes a long time to get your name established, get your reputation established. realizing that if you think you're going to get it overnight, you better pull your head out of your butt and realize that, hello, patience is a virtue, especially with something like that. And I can just imagine, I mean, she was just referring to this from opera, but it totally connects back. That's why I wanted to bring this up, because it's so new and fresh. I was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like, it takes you years to hone your voice, to hone your talent, to hone your stage presence. And now, granted, in your profession, you know, in your niche and your specialty and what you love of dance, like you may not necessarily have a voice, but your body is your voice. That takes a long time, right? You got to put in the reps. You got to do the fitness thing. You got to get the body awareness. I mean, you guys got to put a lot of work in.
It is a lot of work. And it's funny you mentioned that too, Scott, because nowadays, especially in the commercial dance industry, and especially in the Los Angeles area, a lot of it is very much about get in, get out. Let's make this choreography look good. Let's make this entertainment, which is fine. For me, what I love is the process. I love the work ethic part. I love the process part of you going in and figuring out, okay, this is the technique for maybe this specific dance style. How am I going to adapt my body? I may not look like a ballet dancer. I might not look like whatever kind of dancer, right? Whatever the stereotype is, which, you know, that's breaking as the years have been going on and there's more focus on that.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. This whole stereotype thing is definitely powerfully being broken wide open with all those television shows and everything else, Dancing with the Stars and all that. Yeah,
which is fantastic. But there's still that part of dance where it's just very much about get in, get out. Let's make this look pretty. And there's a place for that. But for me, what I really like is, like I said, the process of it. What do I need to do? What kind of work effort do I need to put in? What does my mindset need to be to get my body to do these things I want it to do? And so for me, I geek out about that stuff, Scott. Like, that is, I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm feeling the energy.
You know, I just love that kind of stuff. Not everybody does. You know, there's a lot of kids that I dance with. It's about, okay, let's learn the coolest choreography. Let me see how good I can look so I can post it on Instagram, which is fine. I love that stuff too. But I had to come to the realization, and it's been a process where I had to embrace my own dance journey. Okay, I'm not 23 years old anymore. My focus is not having a professional career full time. But, you know, I've been through stuff and I can teach stuff and I can still learn. And, you know, we both are of the mindset that, you know what, age is just a number. And I remember you talking about how you can run circles around 20-year-olds who've already given up. And that's really kind of sad, because if you can realize how much potential and how much you have already within you and bring that out and just hone in on that, be around the right people that can facilitate and foster and grow that mindset and that fire, which that's what I love about your brand and your podcast.
Thank you.
To me, it's so, isn't it exciting, Scott? I mean, I just like, it lights me up. So
when you find something that, that's what I'm hearing from you. It's what exudes through my brand as well. Like you said, a fired up piece, and like you can hear the passion, you can hear the excitement. So you can't fake that. I mean, you could try to. There's some great actors out there, right?
Yeah.
That's why people hire actors to do like commercial campaigns and everything else. But you can't. It's really hard to fake the voice. And let alone the physical emotions and the representation through, let's say, dance, for example. But I mean, when I hear it in the voice, that's what I love about podcasting. It's like,
Me too.
Right? It's like, It's raw, it's real, it's transparent.
Yes.
Okay. I can't fake it. I mean, I could try to, but you're going to hear it in the voice inflection. So, and that's what I love. When you finally find something you're so passionate about, and then you start building a brand around it, or just a platform to get the messaging out there, you don't even have to monetize, right? Like, it's just like, I want to get a podcast out there. Hook up this whole DancePreneuring angle, which is your connection, and start teaching people how to embrace not just their passion and their art and their success of dance, but hey, how do I build it into a business? How do I monetize it? And help me realize that I can actually have a business around my passion and my purpose.
Yes. Definitely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And it's so funny because for many years when I wasn't dancing, I felt like, and just a lot of the association I was around, I felt like I had to pull back and not express how much I love dance and how much it meant to me, because you had heard my story about letting my body go and gaining this massive amount of weight and not exercising and kind of going in and out of the whole adopting a healthier lifestyle, because I just, everything internally was all messed up. And I think that's when things really started changing for me, Scott, is obviously the physical, I think it all works together. You have to have everything working in tandem. But I think that a lot of people don't put a lot of emphasis on the internal aspect that has to change, the inner dialogue, the thought processes, and thinking that it's just the outside that you have to work on. And
some people look for that short-term win.
Yes.
They think if I go on a crash diet,
yes,
I will lose that 5 to 10 pounds and I'll feel good. But the problem is, to your point, you've looked at it from a short-term gain, which is actually really a loss. It's not a gain, because now you've allowed yourself to get onto this roller coaster ride of the ups and downs. And to your point, if you haven't put in the mental work, there will be even harder downs. You will crash and burn harder and deeper. And it's even harder to build your way back from. So, like, for example, when I coach people in health and fitness, it's one of my side businesses for years now. I'm like, guys, like, you need to have a really solid why you're doing this, because I'm not always going to be around. Okay. You need to have that mental game, backing yourself up, because this is life. The world's going to beat you up. It's going to chew you up. It's going to spit you out. And sometimes you'll do it to yourself. So you got to have that mental game ready to counteract all that. And that's what I'm hearing from you. You're backing it up, man. Like, I'm not the only one talking about this. Guys, mental game will reinforce the physical game.
That is so true, Scott. That was very well said. And even one of my dance trainers, he said, I'm here to teach you, but I'm here to teach you more about teaching yourself, because I'm not always going to be here. And I never had in my dance journey back in almost 4 years ago, it's never been about the motivation. It's been about being comfortable. I don't want to say comfortable is not the right word, because I don't really like that word either, because I'm all about getting out of your comfort zone, but it's about honoring and embracing each step of the way, each phase. I've had to go through different phases in my dance and business journey, and I've had to take a look back and say, you know what, this is what had to happen at this point, this season. And it doesn't look like this person, but that's okay. That doesn't make me less valuable of a person, because for so long I compared myself to other women entrepreneurs, to other dancers, to other people, and thinking, oh, okay, they have this, I don't sound like that. That whole, like I said, the victim mentality, that's just
the comparison. You fall into the comparison.
Yeah. And that, I thought, how much mental energy and creative output I'm putting into this yucky thinking when I could be using this for myself.
I like that. Hashtag yucky thinking.
Oh my God.
We got to put that one in the show notes.
Yucky thinking.
I timestamped the episodes in the blog article, so we're going to have a timestamp just for yucky thinking. Because it doesn't matter how you verbalize it, but you're making a valuable point. It's like, guys, like, these are things that we actually have control over. And this is, I have to clarify this, because this is what I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, we're at different places on the timeline. Annett, when she was at a very different place on her timeline when she put that weight on, and you lost some of that mental fortitude because you saw the physical impacts, and you didn't realize, oh man, my mental game's not there. I got to rebuild the mental game, right? That's what I'm hearing. Now,
Yes.
Grant, I don't know, I can't remember every single part of your presentation, but because we had so many powerful speakers that week.
We did. Yes. Including yourself, Scott.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I try. But it's okay to pat ourselves on our back.
Of course.
We rocked that stage.
That was awesome.
And that was challenging, dude. 8-minute power sessions. What the heck is that all about, Joe? Seriously, Joe? Okay, I'll run my mouth for 20, 30 minutes, but you want me to crush it into 8 minutes? I mean, that was a great challenge, actually. I actually give them props for that. It is,
because you had to get to you need to get to the point in 8 minutes, and you made an impact. So you did very well, Scott. I thought you did fantastic.
You did as well. Your passion came through. But
thank you.
Part of this whole mental game we're talking about right now, and I'm going to throw the word out there because my own sister suffers from it. Depression, right? That's what we're talking about here. Okay. I don't care who you are. I mean, at one point in my life, I even had a short bout of depression. Like I was actually prescribed antidepressants. People are like, you're talking about Scott, like live the fuel. Like, really? That happened? Like, yeah, it was after a breakup. I never really explored a lot of like romantic parts of my life. But I also, years later, after studying psychology and going back to school as an adult student, I can now go back and dissect why that happened. And for me, I didn't have the mental game. I was so busy pushing the career growth and proving to everybody else and myself that I can work my way up in a company without a degree. And I was doing well. I was making money without, like, more than my friends were with school, because I was so focused on money. Money's important, but it's not everything. You have to have a balance. But when stuff started breaking down and I wasn't enjoying my job anymore, and I was shooting for a promotion that I actually realized later I didn't really actually want. And the romantic piece of my life was there, but it wasn't a real relationship. And I thought it was. When that came to breaking down too, there was a cascade effect. And this is a life lesson. I didn't have the other components of my life, because I'm very big on life balance, in place. So when that came dropping out, I had no idea that I wasn't focusing heavily on my workouts, my physical fitness, my education, my career growth. I had dumped all that into the romance piece of it, and I wasn't doing myself justice by keeping my life balanced. So when that came crashing down, it jacked me up for a couple of months. I didn't know what was going on. I never experienced depression before. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I actually tried taking freaking drugs, which I don't recommend, but I get it might be needed for some people. But that's just my own little brief story that I didn't get a chance to get into that 8-minute power session. I tell people, like, hey, I'm not perfect. Like, everybody, there's no such thing as perfection. We all have our struggles. And I mean, can you talk a little bit about that piece of your life too? Like, you don't have to go to my level, but like, how do you connect on that level?
With the whole depression thing, about experiencing depression?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's at different places.
Yeah. You know? Well, obviously I was very, very depressed during the time when I wasn't dancing. And I thought, how did I get to this point? I was depressed because I thought, I'm not a stupid person. I have figured things out. So why is this happening?
Same here.
And I thought, and there was a point where I thought, maybe this is just the end. Maybe I should just end this. And I didn't go, I've met people and known people personally that have had really, really intense degrees of depression. And I've learned so much that it's just, you don't just say to someone, oh, snap out of it. I mean, it's a real, like it's so easy.
Yeah, but I tried telling myself that because I didn't know any better. Too. I'm like,
yeah.
I just like, dude, why is this a problem? Just snap your fingers and get out of it.
Yeah. And that's what I thought for myself too. But I thought, I know how to get out of this. It's weird because I was always overthinking, like, I know that there's a solution. I always felt like things were figure outable, if that's a word. Anyway,
hey, man, we're making up all kinds of words today, but you're not the first one to have used that one, by the way.
Figure outable, yucky
figure
thinking.
Outable, yes. People throw that around.
Figure outable.
But we understand what you're saying. We understand. So
yeah,
keep going.
So I think with the whole depression, for me, getting back to what I loved really helped with that, and really focusing on the fact that, I can take small steps and I can do this, even if it doesn't work out the way that I think it's going to, like in terms of going back to dance. It'll at least get me healthy again. At least I'll get some of my health back, and I won't be feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't climb up these stairs anymore, and all the stuff that goes on. And at first it was kind of a vain thing, like, okay, I want to look better in my clothes or whatever. And it's interesting now, it's not about that for me. It's about how much more can I get to the next level so I'm at my peak performance for business, for dance. And so I look at everything now as an experiment. And that in itself, the whole looking forward, being around people, podcasters, other business people, people in the dance world that fuel that passion and the creativity and push you. The depression thing, yeah, of course, we all have our bouts of feeling like, oh gosh, what am I doing?
We all still have good days and bad days. Come on.
Of course, that's just how it is. But it's very different now, Scott, because I've been in the pursuit of something that puts so much joy in my heart, and being able to have this platform where I can also shine a light on dancers and choreographers and people that love dance as much as I do. All of that together has given me so much joy, and the joy in finding the joy in the journey before, where I thought, okay, I'll be happy when I lose 15 more pounds. I'll be happy when my whatever looks like this. I'll be happy when I get this amount of money. And all of that, it just, when I got to certain places, okay, great, I got there, but it wasn't the end all be all.
No. And I think that this is a great lesson you're bringing up. I'm telling, as soon as everything you just said, all I kept having pop up in my head right now is goals, right? Mm-hmm. what you were saying was you had the goals. The problem is people actually don't understand how to set goals and achieve their goals.
Right.
And what you were stating here is you just listed out a bunch of goals that you had, but you then psychologically dwelled on those goals so heavily you were forgetting to live in the moment.
Yes.
And live where you are today. And it's like, hey, great, I have goals now. Cool. So I know where probably I'm going. They don't need to be rock solid either, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's the other thing about goal setting is you should be setting goals to achieve, but you don't know what the journey is going to be like to get there. And people get so hardcore set in that, oh, I have to do exactly this workout, this diet, and this lifestyle for the next 2 to 3 months to get to that point. Well, yes and no. I mean, a lot of crap can happen in 2 to 3 months, right?
Oh, yes.
A friend of mine, no joke, not kidding you, keep you up to speed. So Saturday, my fiance and I went skydiving, right? And then we had a lot of fun on Saturday.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing that since 2006 was my first jump. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love it. Again, so new goal set on Saturday was I finally bought a, hold on. There we go. Great pod. So I bought a journal, which is specifically for skydivers, because you log all your jumps and your jump person then will actually sign off on it.
Oh, that's cool.
I've never logged any of them because I eventually want to earn my license so I can then jump on my own. So it's way more affordable because once you have your license, then it's like, and you own a chute, and you just you basically pay $20 just to go up on the plane. So little life hack there. So versus like, a couple $100. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we have a lot of adrenaline junkie friends in our inner circle because that's, my community. And a friend of ours, she's literally calls my fiance last night. We're sitting there watching some TV, just some quality time. We don't watch a ton of television, but downtime. We already had a high life on Saturday. And again, life balance. So we're hanging out and then her phone rings and she's talking. I'm like, listen to her talking there. And she's like, well, listen, I'm not a doctor. I mean, my fiance is a doctor, but for like animals, she's a horse vet. And I'm like, are you talking to Nikki? And one of our girlfriends had just finished doing downhill mountain biking. She's a huge downhiller, likes to go racing. Anyway, apparently she jacked herself up yesterday with her boyfriend, and they were on the way to the hospital, and she didn't know what she broke. As of today, we now know she has a tib-fib fracture in her lower leg, which is a legit injury. I've seen it countless times being a skier with the athletes I used to coach. But the point is, you set goals. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, she has goals, I'm sure, in her own life right now that just got completely shifted because she was living life to the fullest, doing her downhill mountain biking, and just jacked herself up. So she's probably going to be on crutches. There's going to be a cast. All these things come into play. But back to your original point, what have you done in your mental game? What have you done to allow flexibility and adaptation on these goals to be achieved? Because she probably, actually, my own fiance, Kristen, she was actually planning next week to go mountain biking with her just to hang out. And then Kristen's even like, oh man, now we can't go riding now. And I'm like, Kristen, I think Nikki's got more to worry about right now than you being able to go riding with her. But my big picture point here is life happens. Okay. Shit happens. Let's be real. Okay, guys, like, oh my God, stuff's going to happen. Don't set yourself so hardcore and so tight that you don't allow the freedom, the flexibility of life to come into the womb, so to speak, and mix things up. Can you talk to that a little bit as a co-host?
Oh, yes. It's interesting you brought this up because I actually haven't talked a lot about this. I have a little bit on my Instagram with some images and stuff, but the one thing that happened this past year that stopped my podcast production for about a little over a month, because I was pretty consistent week to week, releasing an episode week to week, because that was my goal. Yeah. And I had to stop because my middle sister passed away unexpectedly almost 6 months ago. Wow. And when I had found out, I was talk about cool stuff in terms of before that, I was at a dance film festival that I got invited to because of the podcast. Mm-hmm. And so I was so excited, obviously in my element, watching these dance films, being inspired, all the stuff that happens when I go to these dance events. I get home and I get a string of text message, call, something's going on. And, she's in the hospital and she's in intensive care and all this stuff. And And the day after, so I get, I'm on this high from this dance film festival. The day after, I'm supposed to be doing a dance workshop speaking. And so I think, do I cancel? And people would understand. It's kind of a big thing. My sister passed away the night before. But then I thought, no, because the one thing that I need to do through my story, through everything I've been through all the mistakes I've made, through all the heartache, is I need to encourage people that it's never too late. It's never too late. Things happen. You work through them. And it's okay. It's okay that your journey looks different from mine. It's okay that you failed. It's okay that you made all these mistakes. It doesn't devalue you as a human being. And for the longest time, I thought, okay, if I don't achieve this, that, like what we said, I'm less of a person because I don't measure up to so-and-so. So the mental game part of it for me was allowing myself some grace. So when I went back to Guam, where my sister had lived.
I like that word choice of allowing grace.
Allowing grace. And so even that's comforting just even to say that now, because I had to allow myself to grieve, allow myself to spend time with my family. And I thought I'm going to be able to reflect on this as a time that I needed to be there for them, be there for me. Because when my dad had passed away years before, I didn't allow myself that because I thought, okay, my mentor said that I need to just let this, I know it's a family thing, but this business is more important. And so I didn't even get to go to his funeral.
Your father?
My father's funeral. It's one regret that I will have.
Wow, you are hardcore. I mean,
it was
however you want to look at that.
Yeah, however I want to look at that. But I let down people. I let down myself because I allowed the focus to be wrong about business and getting to work and that it was wrong to grieve, that it was wrong because you're not a strong person if you show your emotions. And I'm thinking, you know what? And inside, what the weird thing, Scott, is that inside through all of this, I felt like something's not right. But these people that I think have my best interest say that, I need to be strong and to just let it go and push it aside. And so I never had a chance to grieve. This time with my sister, I had a chance to grieve and have some closure. Do I still have moments? Of course, it's still new to me. 6 months.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, hello, a close family. That's not even like a cousin or an uncle or an aunt. Like, I mean, that's your inner circle.
Yeah. So with the mental game, I think there's components of it. It's not all about the focus, which I love. I love being focused and being goal driven and being process driven and surrounding yourself with all the things that move you forward. But at the same time, I've learned through all of this that it is about allowing grace, honoring where you're at, knowing that you're unique in what you've been called to do. The people that are called for you to serve in whatever way you're going to serve, they will connect with you authentically because of that, not because you're trying to be someone else. And I had spent so many years trying to be someone else because I thought I had to, because I thought I wasn't good enough. So, and I know people relate to that. And that seems to be the story with many entrepreneurs and podcasters. So I think the mental game is very multifaceted, and it's different in different phases of your journey.
I like that. Different in different phases of the journey. Well, it goes back to what everyone we're talking about. To listeners, guys, are you picking up on all this? I mean, take notes, hit pause, hit rewind. Again, when this is all done, go back to the website, look at the blog notes, because again, follow her, AnnettBone.com. Annett Bone is easy. It's B-O-N-E. But your messaging you're giving us is powerful because you yourself have struggled with in and out of dance. Obviously, physical transformations, right? Weight gain, weight loss,
correct,
depression.
Yes.
I love the fact you just shared this. I didn't even know that much about the whole family thing. I didn't know. I mean, that's powerful, man. I can't even fathom, God forbid, if and when it will happen, like losing my parents. And okay, where am I going to be I better be in freaking another country if I'm somehow missing my father's, passing. I mean, it's just crazy. That's powerful. But that's a great example of sharing where you were at mentally and physically before and where you're at today. And I think that's something that's powerful to be taken out of this too, is that you're sharing us lessons learned. Okay. No, people keep trying to be perfection. I can't stand that word sometimes because there's no such thing as perfection.
Right. Me too. Right.
It's what we feel works today. And when people start allowing that and they allow the imperfection into their life, because as we hinted at from the very beginning of the show, like, guys, you're going to make mistakes. The mistakes is what you learn the most from. Like you learned from missing your father's funeral. And you said, you
Correct.
know what? I'm not going to allow that happen again with my own sister.
No, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's a powerful lesson learned. And you could take that now into your business, your podcast, to future relationships as you grow. I mean, as you grow your influence in the dancing community, like now you're actually like carpe diem, man. You're seizing a day. You're like, you know what? I think I got to pick up a little press pass, right? Because I got a podcasting platform. I'm going to roll in on this dance event and, rock some authority, because that's what you got, right? Because you do have a media platform. We discussed this at that conference. I love it.
Yeah,
And I've been watching you online. I see you getting after it. I love that. And again, you didn't know that a year or two ago, right?
No, I didn't. And it's amazing, Scott, what podcasting has done. I never, ever in a million years thought that I would be having a podcast, let alone speaking and putting myself out there as much as I have. And it's been pretty fun, actually, getting over these hurdles, getting out of my comfort zone, meeting these amazing people like yourself and the people at MapCon, Joe Pardo, shout out again. It's such a blessing to me. And regardless of the subject matter of everybody's podcast, I've learned so much from everyone. I love the podcasting community. I love the entrepreneurial community, and I love people that go for their dreams. I love people that fight, that have fire. Oh, it gets me.
And again, to our listeners, guys, what she's talking about right now, that passion, you can hear the fire in her own voice. You will get there too. Okay. It's just, I hinted at this earlier. We're just at a different place in the timeline.
Right.
Annette's put in the work. I've put in the work. We put in our work differently. We're on different platforms, different campaigns, different initiatives. She's dance and entrepreneurial niched. I'm health, business, and lifestyle niched. I'm a marketing guy. That girl can clearly, you could put some moves on me that I wouldn't even know how to even understand or figure out. I can lift you up and like half spin you. I got that covered. But this guy, I joke all the time. Like people are like, so do you ever go dancing? I'm like, dude, I'm a classic example of white boy can't dance. Although I will say, before I arrived in Vegas last week, I was at my friend's wedding, and I blew my fiance's mind. Like it was like, it's everybody's dancing, and I finally just say, I'm just gonna let it all loose. And I just started moving and dancing with her, and she's just like, you don't dance. And I said, well, the music's great. The vibe is great. I have to fly out in like 4 hours in the middle of the night. I'm just living in the moment, man. I'm feeling it. And she's like, you're actually not that bad. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I mean, I'll take that when I can get it. But again, I don't dance that often. But if I want to, rip the lid off and go for it. So I blew her mind. She had no idea. I was like, sweet. I just earned some points. And I've already been with this girl for like 3-4 years. And I found a way to earn some more points. Let your walls down and just let that energy flow.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was just at a dance workshop, and the interesting thing, I don't want to call it a dance workshop. It was more of a movement workshop, a physical theater workshop. I'm very much about getting outside of just, the whole ballet, modern, the dance discipline genres, and also going out toward move. I'm very much a geek about that kind of stuff too. Interesting thing, the guy that was leading it doesn't consider himself a dancer. He said, I've never taken a dance class. I move from within. And the whole class was very much about moving from your instincts and moving from not necessarily the music was kind of there as an accessory, not the impetus. Yeah. It was more internal, which I loved. It's a different feeling. So that's what you were doing. You were moving from within.
Oh, I was getting my dirty dancing on. I hope there's no video of this, because maybe it wasn't as good as I hope it was, but my lady in my arms, up close and personal, vibing with the music, vibing in the moment. We're in a surrounding. Yes. We were on this beautiful like lakefront lodge thing that some corporation built for entertainment, and then they decided to turn it into like a venue. It was gorgeous, massive, open timber construction, and it was just a really cool structure. It was really cool vibe. Everybody's having a blast. I just went with it, man, and I felt it, and it felt so good. And like you point, when you connect with your dancing partner, doesn't matter if you're, I don't care, gay, straight, male, female, part bear, whatever. It's like, get into that, man. Vibe off of that. And it did feel really good. I have to admit, like, all right, it was nice to connect at another new level with her. And again, I've only been with her going on, I don't know, 3-4 years now. So it's like, okay, we connected deeper. in that moment. And you could see that when she's like, she was joking around and busted on me like, oh, I can't believe you're actually dancing, and where'd this come from? But I could look into her eyes and I could see that we were connecting at a new, different level, and she was loving it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can't hold that back anymore.
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah,
I love that.
Right? You probably know more about this than I do. I felt it. I saw it. I read the signs. That's the other thing. Like, again, I am no love guru, but I'm like, pay attention to what's going on, man. And as soon as I locked in, I was like, oh yeah, I got to keep going.
Yeah, it's that energy exchange. It's that, well, you have that relationship, but there's a symbiotic exchange of energy and chemistry. Yes, sounded like it. I would have loved to see a picture of it. But that's awesome, Scott.
Oh yeah. I dipped in and whatever that thing is where you bend her lower back over your hand and swing her, and I busted all that out. So I watch you guys. She watches the Dancing with the Stars once in a while. I pay attention. I don't know. Like I said, living in the moment. So
yeah, in the moment.
Well, listen, I mean, I love the fact that we're vibing like this, but we do have to bring this episode to a close because I got another one coming up. It's a busy Monday. But listen, I'm glad we actually were able to kind of transcend back to the dancing piece, and it's the core of your brand and what we're doing. And you're the co-host of the show, so as all co-hosts, they get the final words of the show. And I know you're a big picture thinker. So if they forget everything else we talked about today, and obviously, again, to our listeners, go check her out at AnnettBone.com. AnnettBone.com. I keep saying Boone. AnnettBone.com, and check her out at the DancePreneuring podcast. It's pretty powerful verbiage. I love the fact of the entrepreneurship and the dancing, but let's go beyond that. I mean, if they forget everything else we discussed today, like, what is the big picture behind everything you're trying to do, where you're trying to go next? What should they remember about you, and why they're going to want to follow you and stay in touch with you moving forward?
I think people need to remember, regardless if it's me or anyone else they choose to engage with, is that first and foremost is that you're already valuable just as you are, regardless of whether you are where you want to be in your business, your career, your life goals. You are extremely special and valuable just as you are. Secondly, I would say to honor any journey and process that you're going through, even if it doesn't make sense. And that progress is not always linear, and you need to be okay with that. That's just part of the journey. And it's amazing if you choose to embrace all the goodness that comes with this, even in the bad moments. It is amazing the insight that you'll get, and just how much you can impact people in a deep way by honoring yourself and honoring your journey. And it's never too late to be great.
I love that. Well, hang tight. I want to give you a proper goodbye. But again, to our listeners, guys, I love that closing note right there. It's never too late to be great. Powerful words today from our latest co-host, AnnettBone.com. Check her out, follow her, subscribe to her podcast. Again, this is what we're all about, guys. I love bringing on powerful co-hosts like this with an amazing story, and she shared so much transparency today with us. So we've said it before, we'll say it again. If she hasn't done it, I'm going to keep doing it for you. Keep living the fired up, epic life. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Clear of the pod. Did you have some fun?
Oh my gosh, Scott, that was fun. You're an awesome host. Thank you.
Well, and you're an awesome co-host, because that's why I don't interview people. I hang out and have great conversations with awesome co-hosts.
Oh, thank you so much. Have you had, you probably don't even get to the point. I've had guests just because they dance and stuff. I think, oh, cool. But some of them I'm like, okay, I need more. Come on. Come on.
That's why I immediately get very animated and very fired up right from the get-go, because I got to make sure that I'm setting the stage, right? Like, it's like, I don't know, you could talk to that. I'm like, okay, I got to set the stage. They got to know that everything is copacetic, everything is cool, and they can vibe and they can get some energy off of it. Because I will tell you, I was worried about that Facebook Live I did this morning at Cystic Fibrosis, because at their office, because this chick is like, she's, again, ex-opera singer, but she admitted she hates being in front of the camera. She's like, you put me in front of an audience of hundreds of people, I'm fine. She's like, I don't know if it's the technology or what it is. She gets all weird. So she's like, she's all like very good posture. And just having a conversation, and I'm like, Mr. Roboto going on. I don't know what's going on. So like, I'm trying to like, I'm hanging out next to her. And I'm trying to get animated. I'm trying to like move it out there. I'm like, get alive, have fun with it. It doesn't have to be all like uptight and corporate-y. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making about corporate-y. I'm making up words now too. So no, this is exactly what I was hoping for, and I knew you'd bring it.
Thank you.
That's why I love going to events and conferences and connecting. And you never know. I mean, there's been great co-hosts, and there's been co-hosts that have some opportunity to improve. I think all of my co-hosts have been awesome. It's just that, again, everybody's at a different place in their comfort.
That's so true. Yeah.
And podcasting allows people to get more comfortable without the video, but I'm trying to get people even more out of their shell. If I can have somebody leave my show, they're amped up even more than they were before. They've left with some new ideas like we now were talking about, right? Like, it's like, great. They're leveling up their game. And that's like, I've already got a legacy I'm leaving behind, right? It's like, sweet. I can have somebody just come on and help me grow my brand. I'm helping them grow their brand. And if you guys leave a little more tricks and opportunities to improve, like, sweet. I'm already building a legacy by accident. So.
Yeah, but you're intentional with your purpose, which is, which is awesome. It's really, I have to say, Scott, before we go, it's been really cool to see your journey from when I first met you at MapCon 2 years ago, and to see the growth and what you've been doing. And I know this is just, you haven't even begun yet.
No, it's the tip of the iceberg.
No, it's awesome.
I will say the podcast has helped me kind of dial it back a little. Mm-hmm. Because I've gained more of that patience that you and I were just talking about, right? It's like, let it happen. You can't be a John Lee Dumas, overnight, for example. Mm-hmm. Like I was hanging with him in Vegas last week, and I'm like, great, cool to hang with a guy. I'm not really turned on by famous people. I guess he's famous in the podcast world, but I'm like, whatever, dude. Here's my sticker. He put my sticker on his shirt. I got him to put my sticker on, and we rocked it out. But I'm like, cool. I haven't taken any time to even try and schedule time with that guy and try and get on a show yet. Everybody's like, oh, you got to get on JLD's show for the exposure. And I'm like, dude, I'm too busy building my show. When I finally remember to go on his website and submit my info, I'll do that. But I'm not worried about that, right? We're just taking action. We're moving.
Exactly. Yep.
When I'm meant to connect with him and when I'm meant to invite him on my show, I'll make it happen. Don't worry about it. So, yeah. But anyway, is there anything else I could do for you today? Is there any other tips, tricks, opportunities besides lamp lighting?
No, I think we're good. I know you have a busy schedule ahead of you, so
it's okay. Yeah. I have to go. Actually, I have to go in less than an hour. I have to go get some injections because I'm going to South Africa at the end of the month, and I have to get stuff in. I don't know, vaccinations or some crap. I don't know.
South Africa? Oh my gosh, how exciting!
Yeah, luckily, me getting engaged to a vet means that she decided to track down some CEU credits, and we have to go on safari so she can study animals. I was like,
my gosh,
she's
Scott,
like, you want to go? I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, I'm totally going to go.
Oh my God. And you are going to you're going to document all this and share with us, right? I hope so.
Hell yeah. I'm going to do podcasts from down there, man. I got my travel gear already ready to rock.
Yay.
So
awesome. Woo,
exciting. We're going for 2 weeks. So, so that's why I'm aggressively rocking podcasts right now, because I want to bank it all up. That way everything is scheduled. I don't miss a heartbeat while I'm gone.
Right.
And then if I have some inspired opportunity to create podcasts while we're there, we do that. So there is a world famous doctor that I'm trying to connect with down there who's in South Africa. I just don't know if I'm going to be anywhere near him. So I'm tweeting right now to try and get him to see if he can meet up with me. So seize the day.
Seize the day. So, awesome.
Well, I'm going to let you get back to your day because you're busy, changing the world through dance. So, and seriously, do you need anything else from me on Randy, or you're cool? You can connect with Randy Strong.
I have her email. So yes, thank you so much. I'll be in touch with her. I told her I'd be in touch with her very soon.
Yeah, I love this. Normally I wait to connect people with people after they've been on my show. I was like, I'm already got you connected before you even came on. So I was like, well, that just saved me some work.
Yeah.
So, but Randy's a hustler. She's getting after it. And I know she'll bring a lot of awesome energy. She's already been on my show. She's awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to listen to her interview as well.
Yes, definitely. So.
Cool.
All right, girl.
Okay. Bye, Scott. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Later. Bye. Another epic episode, guys. Again, AnnettBone.com. Check her out. The DancePreneuring podcast. I mean, it's a pretty cool word. I love the word. But anyway, had a blast. Keep living a fired up epic life, guys. I'll talk to you guys again soon.